Hi there. Welcome to my Saturn return journey. I should say my first Saturn return journey because it occurred when I was 30 years old. Haven't made it to the second one yet. So I'm thrilled to have you here as we take a deep dive into my own personal experiences during my first Saturn return, which occurred for me. It started occurring age 29 when I think about it, 29 and a half, let's say, and then 30 shit really fucking hit the fan. Um, like imagine a young individual full of dreams, yeah, and aspirations. I was eagerly stepping into adulthood. Um, that was me navigating through the ups and downs of my 20s, unaware that Saturn, this like beautiful, majestic planet known for its beautiful rings, was silently observing my every move. As the years flew by, I found myself approaching my late 20s, a pivotal time when Saturn completes its first orbit around the sun. Since my birth, right? It takes about 28 and a half, 29 years, 30 years for it to complete its first orbit around the sun. So this remarkable phenomenon is called the first Saturn return, a period of profound self-reflection, self-discovery, transformation, really preparing me for the next chapter of life. That's really what it's doing for everyone. During this cosmic initiation, the influence of Saturn becomes more prominent, and it was urging me to examine my life and make crucial decisions. It casts this like revealing light on areas that really needed that introspection and growth. And that was really pushing me to reevaluate my beliefs, reevaluate my values, my goals, all of it. The first Saturn return is a period of like major shifts and changes, like extraordinary, both externally and internally. Relationships could undergo intense scrutiny, career paths could be redirected suddenly. Personal identities may be called into question. It can be a time of like really great challenges, like how the fuck am I going to get through this? But also immense opportunities for personal development. Looking back, there's so much that I've learned, right? So much like a mentor, a very strict mentor, Saturn compelled me to confront my limitations and face my fears, nurturing my wisdom, maturing and making myself more mature, bringing it within me. It taught me the precious value of hard work, perseverance, responsibility. It was guiding me to establish this really solid structure, this really solid foundation upon which I could build my future, the beginning of my new reality. So through the trials and tribulations of my first Saturn return, I emerged with like this profound understanding of myself, this profound understanding of my purpose and my place in this world. I gained invaluable experiences and lessons that shaped my character, that was really empowering me to navigate life's journey with this greater clarity and resilience. So join me in this upcoming video as we unravel the mysteries of the first Saturn return of my life and what happened to me and what my lesson was at my Saturn return. And let's embark on a journey of growth, self-discovery, and personal transformation. See you in the next video. I don't know how to turn this off. Again, I do it again. Bye. Hi. Thank you so much for tuning in and for watching this video. As I kind of walk you through the experience that I had and what I went through during my Saturn return. Everyone goes through their Saturn return between the ages of 28 and let's say 30, 31 years old. And, life is a journey. It's filled with unexpected twists and turns. And, sometimes in the midst of our greatest joys, we're really faced, or we find ourselves faced with like absolutely unimaginable challenges, and you're like, how the hell am I gonna fucking get through this? Like, how the fuck am I gonna, what is happening now? Like, what's going on? And so this is my story. And I want to talk to you about the experience that I had through my Saturn return, and the transformative power when you understand that it is normal and that you are feeling these things for a reason, and that we all go through it. And so being able to kind of navigate those energies and understand what is happening in your personal birth chart, it just kind of is validating, and to know and understand and really deep dive into it. So my Saturn return, all the years leading up, so like there was a couple years leading up, and my father was getting sicker, but we didn't really admit that there was anything wrong with him. He was losing a lot of weight. We didn't know what was going on. And you know, he was drinking and he was smoking cigarettes and he was eating, you know, the German diet of open face sandwiches for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, full of like just terrible foods. And he wasn't taking care of himself. And so when I was 30, my life took this dramatic turn. It was supposed to be this time of celebration. And I say that because my boyfriend then of 7 years, who I met in Australia when I went to school, asked me to marry him. And he asked me to marry him during our trip to Germany. Obviously, he of course sought my father's permission, which is a cherished tradition in the German culture. But you know, little did I know that life really had other plans in store for me. It's never ever as you think it's going to be. It never turns out as expected. You're just like, wow, never ever in a million years did I see that happening. And so shortly after our trip, my father was actually diagnosed with cirrhosis of the liver. Now, this wasn't shortly after our trip that he was diagnosed. He was diagnosed much further before this. But he didn't tell me about it, and we both pretended that nothing was wrong as he was losing weight and all of these things, because we were just terrified of the inevitable of what was actually coming. But it was after our trip to Germany that I actually knew that he was really sick and that it could be irreversible. It was an absolutely devastating blow to our family, a very small family. My sister passed away when I was younger. My mother had an aneurysm, near fatal aneurysm. And so it was just our little family. And that was a huge, scary blow, just knowing that something was going to potentially happen to my father. I found myself in the role of a caretaker. I was providing support. I was providing a lot of love to my mom during this challenging time, because he was the caregiver of my mother. He was the one that changed her diapers. He cooked for her. He cleaned for her. He was day in, day out. He learned how to take care of her, with her state the way that it was. She was a paraplegic. Like I said, she almost passed away. I think it actually stemmed from the stress of losing my sister in a car accident as well. And so all of these tragedies just took its toll on my mother. And he ended up taking care of her. He was a very, very good man. So just 2 weeks later, after we got back, he was in and out of the hospital. He was stuck to a dialysis machine, all of this stuff. Tragedy just struck. And my father, he ended up passing away in October 16th, 2010. And he left behind this void that seemed absolutely impossible to fill. I was never going to be good enough to take care of my mom the way that he did. I didn't have the strength to do it. I didn't have the capacity to do it. I had my own life that I wanted to live. I was about to get married and embark on a new role myself. And so this void was huge. And I was, again, thrust into the role of taking care of my mother, who was a paraplegic after, you know, surviving that near fatal aneurysm. With the weight of the world on my shoulders, I literally had to make this difficult decision to find a long-term care facility for my mother, as I couldn't take care of her myself. I couldn't provide the level of care that she needed on my own. It was a heart-wrenching process. I could go on and on about the stories, about the horror stories of finding this perfect place that would never ever amount to being at home with her family, being taken care of by her husband. But it was the best decision for her well-being at the time. Well, the challenges didn't stop once I got her into one of those homes. Just 6 weeks later, my mother passed away unexpectedly from unexplained fever, and she was rushed to and from hospital 4 or 5 different times because the fever was so high and no one understood what was going on. Well, it was a broken heart. It shattered my heart to see her suffer so long after losing my father. He had been this rock. He had been her caregiver. He had been everything to her. And she just she was never the same. And so I begged for her to let go, and she also passed away. So this is 6 weeks later. This is still my 30th. This is my Saturn return. I'm in my 30th year of life. In the midst of all this heartbreak, life presented me with a whirlwind of events. I got married in May of 2011. So my mom died in December. My dad died in October previous year. And then May, got married. I found out at my honeymoon that I was pregnant. I received another promotion at work, so I was starting a whole new thing. I bought a new house. This is the first house that I ever bought with my parents' inheritance money. Just everything was a change. I was literally like, the universe was like throwing me into life. Like, it's time to grow up. You're now mature. You are completely on your own. You're just figure it out. You're going to be a mom. Your parents aren't even going to be at your wedding. They're not going to meet your children. They're not going to any of these things. So all of those things, the universe was showing me that amidst the pain and the sorrow, there was also, yes, it was challenging, but there was also so much growth, so much expansion, so much maturity that I was forced into. But then also I found my way. I found my voice. I found how to be authentic. The Saturn return was a game changer for me, because that was the beginning of my life as me, who I am authentically, without any parent telling me who to be or when to get married or ask permission for this or for that. It's like my life started at 30. As soon as my parents passed away, it was like my reality shifted into a whole new city. I moved from Kitchener, small town, to Toronto. I got married, baby, all these things just started unfolding for me. And that was my Saturn return. It was a roller coaster of emotions and a roller coaster of experiences. It tested my resilience. It tested my faith. It definitely tested my strength. But through it all, I really emerged with newfound wisdom, a newfound understanding of life's complexities. And that's also when I first got my first Saturn return reading, or my first solar return reading and natal chart reading with another trusted astrologer and dear friend of mine. So my Saturn return taught me that life does not always go as planned. It never goes as planned. It challenged me to embrace the highs and the lows. It challenged me to find strength in the face of adversity, and to appreciate the growth that comes from truly navigating life's unexpected twists and life's unexpected turns. And so this story, I want for you to be reminded that your Saturn return can be such a profound catalyst for personal and spiritual transformation. It's during these moments that we're pushed to confront our deepest fears, those fears that are that we push down in the pit of your stomach. We're forced to confront these fears, and we're forced to make these life-altering decisions. And ultimately, we're forced to discover who we really are and who we came here to be. And so astrology is the most validating, the most beautiful sacred language, and it has literally changed my life. And I'm so grateful that you are here watching this video right now because you are meant to be watching this video right now. Maybe you're going through your Saturn return, first one. Maybe you're going through your second Saturn return, right? Because they happen every 29 and a half to 30 years, 28 to 30 years, let's say. And so you want to embrace the journey of your Saturn return. You want to unlock that power of transformation and just go with the flow. Drop your oars and don't swim upstream. Don't be paddling upstream. Go with the current, drop your oars and just go with the flow of life and trust your intuition. And maybe you need to book an astrology reading. Maybe you should look into, deep diving into the map of your own life and of your own soul purpose and true purpose. And so this might be your invitation to do so. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you're going to watch the next one, I'll see you in the next video, the Uranus opposition video. Thank you. I don't know how to stop recording. There we go. Bye.